Okie dokie. So the plan for today is we're gonna make the chessboard part file, and we're gonna make the basic assembly, which actually might take a little while. It's a lot of repetitive stuff, like you have to bring in 8 pawns and constrain them for each side. So um I'll get most of it up there, and then a lot of the stuff will be, well, it's pretty fast once you know how to do it, so it shouldn't be too bad. Let's put this up here, and we'll go full screen and get rid of that. And I think we're going. Okay. So at this point, you should have one of each of the 6 chess pieces, or at least at this point in the um, progress, if you're working on this today or whenever. You should have all 6, one of each of the 6 chess pieces. Before we do the assembly today, we'll open each of them, do a save as, and change the color. So you'll have one of each color for each of the 6 pieces, and then we can bring in a bunch of them for the assembly. But in order to do that, we need to make a chessboard. And the way you're going to do it, of course, a new part file. And the key is the plane space of the chessboard needs to be 16 by 16. The reason for that is, as we did before, as we talked about before, that makes each of the grids 2 by 2, which will make it the right size for your chess pieces. Okay, so the way you're going to do this, you need to find an image of a chessboard, just a checkerboard with 8 by 8, which is most of them. And all you need to do is Google image search chessboard or checkerboard or something, and find one that ideally doesn't have a border or has the tiniest border possible, because it'll make it easier to line up. But let's say I like this one. I'm just going to right click, save image as, and I should get a, that's not a good sign if it's still loading. Did I miss it? Save image as. All right. Well, I already have one. If it's not working at all, that's not a good sign. Surprised the meeting is still working, honestly. Save image as. Resolution is not super critical. There we go. Make sure you keep track of where you save it, probably in your My Documents. And then, oh wait, I did the same thing. This is all the different things queued up. I'll get a couple of them just in case. Okay, so inside of Inventor, we need a chessboard or a block that is 16 by 16, and I just do a 1-inch thick thing because that gives you some material to work with. I am going to recommend starting on the flat plane, on the XZ plane, because that will, when you bring it into the assembly, it will be pointed the correct direction. It is possible to overcome that, but it just saves you one full step. Okay, so I'm going to start a new sketch and choose the XZ, or whichever the flat one is. And I want to look at it. Well, I mean, this doesn't really matter at this point. I need a 2-point rectangle, and I strongly recommend, again, starting from 0, 0, because what that will do is it will make sure your origin planes slice through, well, you can't see them now because we're in sketch mode, slice right along the edge, which means all of your offsets will be multiples of 2, or actually multiple of 2 plus 1. So like an offset of 1 inch, 3 inch, and so on. But you'll see in a second. We need, just to make this 16 by 16, home to zoom out, and then we're just going to finish sketch and extrude. And there's only one thing there, and the default's 1. Perfect. Okay. If you want to do some sort of embellishment on the end, like slanted, and you really should, it's not too much difficulty. Like in this old assembly, which I don't know why I decided to do that. It's going to take forever to open. But but there's a chamfered edge, I guess, on the outside here, that slanted face. Make sure that extends, that's like beyond the 16 by 16. Okay, we want the 16 by 16 to be the plane surface, and we are going to be stuck waiting for this to load because I made a poor choice. And we will all suffer for that poor choice. And we continue to suffer. There we go. Okay, so you can see here in this finished assembly, there is the plane surface, but then there's also this slanted extension. Start with the plane surface, make it 16 by 16. We're going to bring the image of the chessboard and make what's called a decal on top of it. And then after that, you can do like a rounded edge or like some stair steps or like, raised so it looks like in a arena or something. I don't, your call, it's creative stuff. But either way, we have a 16 by 16 inch panel that's flat with a 1-inch extrusion. And the way you get the image on is we need a start a 2D sketch on the surface. Orientation doesn't really matter, but I always like to work at it so its top is readable. And we are going to import an image, which is this one right here. And that should bring up the Finder window. And you're going to choose the image that you just saved to your documents, whichever it ends up being. Okay. And when you bring it in, you might think, let's snap it to the edge and constrain it. But you don't want to do that because if your chessboard image has a border and you snap the image, snap the corner of the actual image to the corner of the sketch, you won't be able to like get rid of that border. So it's just basic. It's a little not intuitive the way the part that doesn't move, it's not like an image in a like a Word document or something, because it kind of tilts, but you want it to be so that wow, I don't know how you figure out which corner is going to be the one that doesn't move, but play around with it a little bit, try to get just the grid or just the checkerboard on the purple square area, and that's actually a little big. You can't do just sideways, it stays scale. Try your best. The better you do now, the better it'll be later. Okay, so you can see I have the image extends beyond the surface, and that's, like I said, to get the border off. Okay, once you have that good, you're going to do finish sketch. Make sure you do this step because you can hit finish sketch and it looks right, but it won't show up later. Okay, it's still just a sketch. You need to make a decal like a sticker. Okay, when you click on decal, there are two things. The first one is the image. What image do you want to decal? The image you just did, click on it. And then what face do you want to decal it on? The one we just sketched on. And then hit OK. And now you can see it cuts off the edges cleanly. Unfortunately, I still have that watermark, but that's going to be fine for now. And there is my checkerboard. You don't have to use a black and white one. You can use any standard checkerboard, is fine. And I do want to make an extension thing there. So what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to start a sketch. I'm going to do an offset. Is this offset? Yeah, offset is this one. If you mouse over, you can see. And if I click the edge there, it'll make that shape there. And I'm going to make it exactly 1 inch offset because I think it'll look good with the extrusion. I'm going to finish sketch. I'm going to extrude just the rectangle I made. And I want this one to extrude up. Okay, so I have an extra inch, which that looks fine also. And how about I fill it? I'm going to fill it just the top edge here. And this is all design stuff. It's your call. And maybe like 0.5. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, and if you want a different material for the board, you can do that. And remember, it's change the one, well, depending on your resolution, you'll be able to see either 0, 1, or 2 of these drop downs. Like if you have a small resolution, you might be able to see all of them, or rather both of them. But if not, there's a extension double arrow. Change the one that says default. Default is the one that lets you change the color. Generic is the one change the material. Generic does change the appearance sometimes, but it's not as good, and it doesn't give you a little preview. And green polished is fine with me. So I'm going to save it, and I'm going to call it board. Making sure that it is in the same folder. Although it's not super critical, it helps. Okay, so I have a part file for my board. Now, in order to do the assembly, I need to open up each of these pieces. I guess I don't have to open them all up at the same time, but why not? I can open up, I can choose all of them. I already opened the, no, I opened the bishop already. And then open selected. Did I get them all? This is my old assembly. I close that. Okay, I have bishop, knight, king, pawn, queen, rook. Okay, so I'm gonna go through them one at a time. And okay, this is my main one. Make sure you do save as. And you can just call it something -2 or other team. Is this, hold on, am I already in? I'm in default. Okay, so I'm going to choose the first team, and I'm going to do red versus green. Going to pick my 2 team colors. Plywood is going to be one of my teams, and well, we'll solve the other one. So I'm still in the first part file, saved it, okay, or in the first bishop. I changed the color. It made the color of the first team, which I need to remember is plywood. Saved it. Now I'm going to do save as. Call it bishop -2 is fine. Okay. And then I'm going to change the color of that one to the second one, and I need the second team, and I need to remember the color. Is that going to look? I don't think that's going to look different enough. Green and I really shouldn't be spending that much time on this. Okay, that's fine. Who cares? Okay, so it's just for me, it's called Sky Blue. No, I'm gonna go with Sky Blue Dark as my other one, and my first one's called Plywood. Okay, so now I have 2 bishops. I have bishop -2, and it closed bishop 1. Okay, so I have 1 bishop and then the other bishop, plywood, and make sure you're not doing exactly the same colors as me. Just do original stuff. Okay, so my first team here is called plywood, and I actually do need to do all of these so that the assembly looks right. Okay, so there's the first one. I'm gonna do file, save as, and call it knight-2. That makes a new file. And in knight-2, I'm going to change it to my other one, which is Sky Blue Dark. Save it and close it. And the other ones, okay, so I need to do one for rook. And I want, again, plywood, elemento plywood, weathered. Save it as my first team, do file, save as, rook-2. And change, now that it's rook-2, Sky Blue Dark, save it and close it. And now I just need queen. And we'll do plywood. Again, elemento ply. Save it, and then file, save as. and save it as queen-2 and change this color to sky blue dark. And God, I hope the audio is recording. So that's -2 is my queen, my blue queen, and I just need pawn to change it to my first team. You may have already chosen. You may have already chosen the color of your first team. That's fine. Okay, my first pawn and save as is pawn 25-2. And we'll go sky blue dark and save, close the pawn, and one more. And first team. Save, file, save as. All right, so this is the last one that I need a second color for. Sky blue dark. And save it. And we can close all of the part files. I don't even need the board open at this point. Okay, so now for the assembly. Okay, new, from our special quick drop down assembly. Okay, and I don't know why place iLogic is the standard. We just want regular place, and it usually pops up. And the first thing that you want to do, and in fact, I need to make sure I don't dox myself here, or somebody else. Let's see, where is it? Is it in? Where is this? Documents. Not in documents. Is it in? Puzzle cube, Menchie cube, train. Oh my God, where is it? Chain. Jet Set project. Where is it? Sorry, folks. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So we need a to place, and I'm not sharing it. I know that it's called key ID. Okay. There is Zoom, and I need to share it. That would be a pain if I didn't share it again. All right, so back to where I was. Okay, so we want to click place, and the first thing you want to bring in is the board. Okay, it is going to be grounded, or should be automatically. Okay, when you hit OK, it gives you one for free, and you do right-click OK. Make sure over here you can see there's a little push pin. That means it's grounded. Okay, the way to make sure the first thing comes in is in Tools, Application Options, Assembly, and Place and Ground first component at origin. Okay, and then OK, apply, close, whatever. Okay, but if you didn't do that, it won't come in as grounded, in which case, if there's no push pin, when you bring the first thing in, you need to do right click and check grounded. That will lock it in place and make sure everything else moves when you constrain it. Now, the other thing you'll notice is that you can turn on the visibility of YZ plane, right click visibility, and for the other one, for XY, right click visibility. Don't worry about whichever plane you drew on, because that's going to be the flat plane. And hopefully you can see those origin planes slice right through the edge of the plane surface. It's pretty close. And that is good because that will allow us to do a good offset. Okay, so let's do the pawns first. Okay, so we'll place, and I want to place pawn from one team, and I'm just going to place it out in space. I know I'm going to need 8 of them. There's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right click, OK. And inside of, it's probably easier if you just do right click and open up the pawn part file, and you can then go to its origin planes and do right click visibility on the 2 planes that are vertical there. And then when you go back to the assembly, you can see they're all on there. And it'll be easy to select the planes that we want to do offsets for. Okay, but for all of these, the first constraint is going to be the bottom surface to the plane surface of the chessboard, because they're always going to be flat. Okay, so we'll just do constrain and mate constrain, and we want to mate the bottom flat part. And in fact, you don't really need to bring up the planes first. You can do this first, but make sure you are selecting the entire bottom face of the chess piece and not the edge, which will give you the green dot, and not the center axis. It's just the flat face. And if you don't have a flat face on the bottom there, it has to do with your revolution. But we'll go ahead and just flat constrain all of them, which hopefully doesn't take that long. It might take you a little longer if you don't know the keyboard shortcuts. I didn't need to do that. If you hit apply, it just doesn't close the window, which is faster. The colors are strange on this side. I don't know why. It shouldn't fill the board that way. I don't know what it's doing. But either way, here we are. Constrain, mate that surface to that one, apply, and I guess 2 more. We want the flat surface there. And okay, so each of these, you can see there are pawn 1, or the first team pawn, because it's not -2, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I think they are all constrained. There should be 8 mate. Oh no, one of them's still in the air. Yeah. So yeah, this one is still in the air. Let's constrain its bottom face to the top there. Hit OK. And you need to pick, there is a correct side for this. It looks like the chessboard is the same regardless of what side you're on, but it's actually not. And I can't remember which one is the correct one. I think it's this one is my guess. Not sure, but it's fine. I'm not worried if you get that wrong, especially since I don't know. Okay, so regardless, each of these pawns is pawn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They don't need to be in order directly. Like pawn 1 would go there, pawn 2. It might make it easier later on to find them, but the key is they're just all along this second row from the end, and you'll see what happens in a second. This one is 5. This one is 7, and this one is 8. Okay, so for each of these, we are going to do a pair of offset constraints. And the reason for that is those are the things we're going to use to animate later in order to make the chessboard move, or the chess match happen. So we're going to do constrain, and we need to do a constraint between this plane and the plane going the same direction. And you can see it pops over to the plane because we did a mate constraint for it. But we don't want it to be all the way over the edge. We want it to be centered on this column. So we're going to do an offset of 1. Sometimes it goes the wrong direction. Like if you do an offset of 1 and it pops out the wrong way, you just need to switch it to negative. Okay, in this case, it worked positive for me. Hit OK. And now this piece is, no matter where I grab it, it's going to stay flat on the board, and it's going to stay in this in its column, file, rank, I don't know. And then I just need an offset of the other plane to the plane it's parallel with. And sometimes mate doesn't work. So I choose the plane, the origin plane of that piece I'm working on. And then this one, if it doesn't pop over, that means it's over constrained, which is fine. It just means you have to switch to flush. So this one, I want it to be in the center of this. So one block is, the center of it is 1 inch. The other one is 3. It's going to be 1. Okay, so it went the wrong way. Let's do -3. Hit OK. And this one is now fully constrained. You can grab it and it doesn't move. Okay, I'll do the rest of them. Try to do it quickly. And that offset would now be, this offset was 1. So I need to offset this one 3. Good. Apply, and then this face to this face. This one is also an offset of -3. Okay. This one to here is now 5. And this one to here is still 3. Well, it's always -3. And I'm not going to do all of them. This is, especially since there's going to be two sides. But this side, this offset is now 1, 3, 5. It's offset of 7. And this one is an offset of still going to be -3. Okay. And so all of these are fully constrained. These are not constrained yet. You need to constrain them all, but there's not enough. We'll try to save some time. Okay. And let's go ahead and you should probably save it. Why not? Chess set. Let's go. I don't know. How about full assembly? Something that makes sense. And yes to all. Gosh, who cares? And hit OK. And I can now, once it finishes saving, I can go back to that pawn and turn off the visibility of these things. Okay, and now that's fixed. Okay, and now let's do the pieces in the back. I need a couple bishops, which of course I need to first mate to the surface, mate the flat underside, and same thing with this. Hit OK. And the thing about bishops is that slot is supposed to face forward. So when we go to, oh wait, I need to go to bishop. I'll save this, why not? I need to right click, open up that part and open, and then I'm in the part, what's it called? Bishop. And I'm gonna turn on the visibility of the 2 vertical planes. And now using those planes to constrain, when we did the pawn, we just chose this side plane and the one going the same direction, which is this one. But because I want it to turn, I'm going to choose this plane to constrain to the side, and we'll see what happens. Okay, it popped over there, and is the slot going forward or backwards? The slot is now facing backwards. It's difficult to see, but I want that slot facing forward. So instead of mate, I'm going to do flush. And that flips it around, hit OK. Should still be, oh wait, no, I need to make that one the offset because they're supposed to go here, 3 in. So the one that I just did, this one right here, no, this one, is that the one I just did? Or this is the one I just did? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it's this one. I need this to be an offset of 1, 3, 5. And yep, +5. Probably could have chosen better colors to pop out, but okay, so this bishop now only moves this way because it's constrained to be 5-inch offset from the side. Used a flush to make sure it points the correct direction. And then I just need to lock it in from the back. So we'll try mate of the plane that goes this way with the plane that goes this way. And if it doesn't pop, it means it needs to be a flush. And the back row is just an offset of 1, but appears to be -1. Okay, and then the same thing for the other side. This bishop needs to go here and constrain this face to the side. Why are the things so... Oh, no, I don't want mate. I want flush. Oh, no, I just straight up chose the wrong planes. Okay, so we can constrain this plane to the one that slices across. And there we go. You can see the slot points back. So I'm going to switch it to flush. And I want it to be in this space over here. So the offset is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Positive 11. Hit OK. And now it's roughly in the correct location, but I need an offset from the back. So I'm going to do constrain. And the one that it's lined up with is this one with that one, and an offset of 1 or -1. Okay, and I can turn off the visibility of the bishop vertical planes, save this, close that. And now our bishops are in correct location, and you shouldn't be able to move. You should be able to grab them, not have them move. Okay, let's do... yeah, hold on a second. Wait till somebody comes back. I guess that's probably the better plan. Okay, so I need 2 rooks. So let's place rook 20, 24. There we go. And I need 2 of my rooks from this team. First thing is mate the bottom, the top of, well, the chessboard surface to the bottom surface of the pieces. No, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to do that. Okay, so I have 2 rooks. One's going to go there. One's going to go there. And I want the vertical plane, so I'm going to open it. Right-click, open. Go to origin, right-click, turn on visibility. Right-click, turn on visibility. Go back to the assembly. And let's mate these. It's not directional, so that's fine. And I want it to be 1 block off, so it's 1 inch offset. And then the distance from the back here is going to be also 1. So I want to constrain the plane that goes that way to the plane that goes that way. And if I guessed ahead, it would be -1. Nope, +1. That's what, nope, it is -1. Yeah, there we go. Okay, -1. And then this one over here is that to that. And if I want it to be over here, it's an offset of 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. Offset of 15 or possibly -15. And at this point, it only goes that way. And so I'm going to constrain the distance from the back plane to that plane. And it's an offset of 1, -1. There we go. And we're done with these 2 rooks. So let's turn off visibility there, save it, close the rook. Okay. And we only have a couple more. We have 2 knights, a pawn, and a king. Let's just bring them, well, rook, need 2 of those. Actually, gonna just bring out the king and queen at this point. Also, king 24 and queen 24. Okay, and let's mate the bottom surface. There's somebody ahead of you, and there's 2 people out. Okay, and so there's that, and we're still mating underneath surfaces. I guess I have an unconsumed, looks like an unconsumed sketch on the king there, but we'll do that one to there. And we're still mating that one to that one. Okay. All right, so the pieces we still need to constrain are, oh, did I bring out extra rooks? That was dumb. All right, sorry. Place knights, that's what it's called. We want knight 2024. Okay, so I need 2 of those. Constrain underneath. 2 people in front of you, 2 people out. That one goes to the thing. And that, nope. Not the green dot, the surface. There. Okay. And let's do the origin plane. So let's open up the knight file. You probably double click on it. Am I right with that? Nope, that's not what I want. Right click, open seems to work. And this one is like the bishop where it is directional. So we're going to turn on the visibility of the vertical planes, and we'll go back to the assembly. And because I want these bishops to be turned, I'm going to not choose the one already going the same direction. So let's mate. And I'm guessing it's going to be a flush because it was the case for the other directional one. Nope, I chose the wrong one. Okay, because I want it to be, I need to get rid of that one. Which one am I working on? It's that one. Okay, I chose the wrong plane again. Strain, I want this plane to be go with the one that slices through the head, which is this one. And it is, why are we not, there we go. And it is facing the wrong direction, so I'm going to switch to flush. And I want, why is it, I wonder if my keyboard is dying. That's probably what's happening. Okay, I want it to be on this column, which is an offset of 3. Hit OK, and now it should be in there. And I want it to be 1 inch from the back because that's 1 block off. And an offset of 1, -1. And this one, the same thing. We will do the plane that slices through the head with the one that we want parallel. And we want to switch to flush, so it goes the correct direction. And before we click OK, we want an offset of whatever puts it here, which is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. And an offset of 13, put it there. So it's going to be -13. There we go. And hit OK. And this one also needs to be 1 inch from the back. So we'll mate offset of, I'm guessing, -1. There we go. Okay, go back to the knight file and turn off the visibility of that stuff. Save the knight file, close the knight file. And then the last 2 are just the king and queen, which I've already constrained to the surface. I just need to turn on their vertical planes, which I think you can do from the assembly, but it doesn't, I don't think it's persistent. Okay, so thank you. If you don't know how a chessboard is set up, you can look it up, but there's a thing called queen to her color. So whichever side, whichever team is the lighter color is the one where the queen gets placed on the lighter color block. And on the other side, the queen, the darker color queen would go on the dark space and the king on the light space. But since this is the lighter of my 2 colors, this is where it's going to go. And I don't have the origin planes for the king on yet, but we can go ahead and I actually do want to make sure the king is facing this way so that the cross is towards the front. And so I'm going to mate these 2. That looks fine. And it's on the back row, so the offset is 1, -1. And then we just need to constrain it sideways. that, and its offset is 1, 3, 5, 7. And the king is constrained. Let's turn off its planes and save it and close it. And then just the queen. Turn on its vertical planes, or the visibility of its vertical planes. And we'll do the same thing. That's not what I wanted to happen. Uh-oh, that's not good. How do I get that back? What happened? How did I get another window? I don't like this. What if I save it? And then close it. And then open it. Full assembly. Okay, where is it? I don't. Sorry, folks. It's one of these. And it's called full assembly line. There we go. Please be in the window. Excellent. All right, so I need just to constrain the queen to the side, this plane to this plane, and its offset is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. And again, I think my keyboard is dying. I don't want to do this. Okay, 9, and then the offset this way. That it's on the back row, so its offset is 1 also, -1 also. And then we can turn off the visibility here of its vertical planes, save the queen file, and close it. And there you go. You have one of the two sides fully constrained. You just need to do the other side. I'm not going to do the entire other side, but I am going to do a couple of them, especially things like the knight. So knight 2, I need to make sure is facing the right direction. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do just a regular mate of the surface of the board to the underside of that. Hit OK. And again, let's open up the part file and turn on its origin planes. Right-click visibility, right-click visibility. And in the assembly, like I said, I want this to be facing the other team. So I'm going to constrain the plane that's going through the head with the one that's on the side. And is it facing the correct direction? It is facing the correct direction. That's good, except I need it to be an offset, so I shouldn't hit OK yet. It's this one. Right click, and it's this one, edit. And I want it to be in the second row opposite this one. So it's an offset of 1, 3, possibly -3. No, +3 is okay. And the tricky part, or not even the tricky part. So this one is supposed to go here, opposite this one, but it's offset from, we're doing offsets from this plane over here. So it's going to be an offset of 1, 3, 5, all the way up to 15 for the back row here. So I want to mate this one to here. And if it doesn't pop, that means you need to do, well, I should say, if you have show preview on. If you have show preview on and it doesn't pop, you need to switch to flush. Just means it's over constrained, and its offset to get to the other side is 15. And hit OK. And you're going to do that for all of them. Okay, I think that's enough information to do. Well, do I have these on here? Yeah. So the boards, the main origin planes are turned on inside of the assembly, not inside the board file. But the origin planes for each of the parts in order to do the constraining. You need to open up the part file to do that. And then when you have both sides fully constrained, you're done with the assembly and you will be ready for the animation. If you ever see a window where it has yes to all and no to all, just hit yes to all and okay. I don't really know what it does. I just know yes to all and okay works. Okay, and so that's where I'm going to end the video. Make sure you get them all in there and constrained.